Hello and welcome to yet another episode of What to Pick. In this video series I go over a few different starting hands and explain what I would pick and why. And in today's first hand we have a decision between Teractor and Thorgate. And in 95% of cases Teractor is much better than Thorgate. It's actually one of the best corps in the game. I've discussed that in a recent video of mine where I went over the OTML stats, and it seems like Teractor is really good and Thorgate is really bad. So let's go with Teractor for now. Not bad preludes, I have to say. Allied Bank probably the best one out of these, just really solid economic prelude. And you never go wrong with this, no matter what strategy you're going for. Supplier is really good. The power prod is always useful, and then more starting capital is always nice. But as Teractor, I think you don't need more starting capital in most cases. So probably I'd go for Research Network here. Just card draw. Like when you have so much money, then you actually want cards to play. Let's go for these two for now. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, underground detonations. Let's go for that. I'm kidding, of course. Interesting. GHG factories means that I probably want to go for supplier. But also the rest of the hand doesn't look too great, which means that maybe I want to just go research network and supplier so that I can draw a few more cards. Let's take a look here again. Research coordination, I think you can nearly always keep in your starting hand if you have the money for that, because a wild tech is really useful, and especially together with research network, which also has wild tech. You start the game off with 2 wild techs. That's just crazy value. You can, if you draw NRA, insects, AI, AGT, whatever, it's so good, and it also helps on the milestones. We're playing on classes here, so there's just builder it helps on, but for that it's really nice. And then supplier to play GHG factories. What else could we go for here? Extreme cold fungus can be a nice spec. If you find like decomposers, GHG producing bacteria, or regolith eaters, then this is a really good card. Also, we don't have much else to keep here. You could think about methane from Titan. If the oxygen goes up fast, then this is really strong, and you certainly have to cash for it. But you have no way of increasing the oxygen. You could just SP 2 greeneries and go for gardener, play methane with that, because what else are you going to do? So that could be a plan. And you could then also think about birds, just a solid 1-point animal. You can also think about local heat trapping, because you have some heat prod with methane and you have a 1-point animal with birds, so that's good combo potential. And if you don't want to do this, then you could probably just pick up house printing as well and use this plus GHG factories plus the 2 wild techs to go for builder. Hope to draw a few more building techs with the research network. I'd probably, maybe you can even pick up these 3 still. If we do this, we go down to 39. This costs only 3 because we have 8 from supplier. So 39 minus 3, that's 36. So you could still play house printing Gen 1 and SP a greenery. And then in Gen 2 you could SP another greenery and play methane in Gen 3 then, I guess. Or you find something good with research network. So there's like 2 ways to go. You could either go research coordination and these 3, or you could skip even these 2 if you want to, and go with these 5 and try to get gardener, and then rush the heat track with GHG factories and methane. So that's actually quite a good way to play this. And as I expected, there's literally no reason to play Thorgate here. Like, if you really want to play Thorgate, then you don't pick supplier, and you pick these 2. because you have a power prod already on your corp, and with that you can play GHG factories and you don't need any more power from the get-go. And well, rest is kind of shit as Thorgate, because what else are you going to do? You don't have the starting capital to go for the greenery play into methane. Don't think that works out as Thorgate, so I don't like that play. And if you want to go for the greenery play, you can also think about just picking Supplier, Allied Bank, and skip the cards. If you're committed to going greeneries into methane, then you don't need more cards. You rather take the starting capital and go the rush route here. And maybe skip these two. If you're going to rush, then you don't need house printing and ECF. But yeah, these are some ways you could play this hand. It's definitely interesting. I haven't talked about adaption tech here. I don't think it's that worth it here. We don't have a payer for it. Oh, actually, you could skip all of this greenery crap and just take adaption tech, play it into methane, but this is really expensive. And the greenery crap isn't just for methane, it's also to get a milestone. And by doing that, you can try to get Gardener and Builder. And if your opponents are also trying to go for these milestones and lose out to you, then you can also try to go for Terraformer. So I don't think I like this play. Urbanize is too much of a spec here, and Underground Detonations is crap. And all the other cards I talked about. So I think we can go for the second hand. Alright, second hand, it's Vitor versus Mining Guild. And again, in not 95, but maybe 90% of cases, Vitor is better. Just because Vitor is one of the best cards in the best corps in the game, and Mining Guild is really dependent on your starting hand. So let's take Vitor for now. Allied Bank again, and it's a really good prelude for Vitor. Vitor loves to go for a long game, and Allied Bank is perfect for that. The other preludes, these two are both not well, kind of good, but this one is quite bad in my opinion. Normally I like Mining Ops better. Space Hotels is really strong. We have the two Earth tags we need from the Corp and Allied Bank. So we can play Space Hotels and start the game off with 8 MC Prod. That's really nice. And we have actually just one tile. That's not enough to pick Mining Guild in my opinion. I think Vitor is just better. What else would I pick here? Definitely Algae Decomposers. We have one Ocean on hand, and with Algae on hand, we probably want to play a few more. So if you find some in the draft, like Ice Asteroid or Imported Hydrogen, just play them and get Algae out. If you also find kelp farming in the draft, which would be like best case scenario, then just start standarding Oceans to get these cards out as fast as possible. Rests, yeah, I mean, Small Animals is always a safe pick, especially in 3P. One of the opponents will have some plant prod by the time you can play this, and it's also discounted heavily for Vitor. And other than that, I probably wouldn't pick anything here. Don't have any science tags, so tech stress power seems like a stretch. Space Mirrors is just bad. Land Claim, it's alright, but only if you draw it for free or if you have Media Group, because buying and playing it for 4 is kind of bad. If you draw this for free and just pay 1, then it's a really good card. You can deny some points, you can secure a good spot, but I wouldn't buy it in the starting hand. Martian Rails is a meme. And then Urbanized Area. Yeah, you could pick this up. I mean, you don't have a lot to play in the first gen. You probably just play Space Hotels and maybe Convoy on cards. But if you play Convoy on cards, draw 3 more cards, then you can also skip Urbanized and hope to draw something better. But you have a good eco with Allied Bank and Mining Ops, and Urbanized is actually a steal target, of which we have no other. So I think you can pick Urbanized. So yeah, I think this is a pretty easy selection here for Vitor. think this is basically the only thing that makes sense. You can debate urbanized, but all of the other cards for me are quite easy to pick here. So yeah, let's get to hand number 3. All right, hand number 3, it's UNMI versus Ecoline, and this is interesting. UNMI, one of the worst corps in the game. Not really good. It's really fun to play if you have a good starting hand for it, because you can really rush the TR track like crazy. I had a game where I got like 64 TR by the end of the game. With UNMI, it can be really strong if you get the right hand for it. But Ecoline is easy to play, strong corp. Probably in most scenarios this is better than UNMI, but it also requires quite a specific starting hand. You really need Heat Prod as Ecoline, because Ecoline is not suited for a long game, and you have some plant prod already. You want Heat Prod so that the game is fast and you can unlock better plant tags on the Heat track. So let's pick Ecoline for now. Good preludes for UNMI actually, because we have Metal Witch Astra. Probably this is the best prelude for UNMI there is, because it's a singular TR step. All you need to do your ability in the first gen, and then it gives you a ton of starting capital with 4 titanium and 4 steel. Really nice. And then Great Aquifer. We're playing on Elysium, by the way. Great Aquifer, also nice. You can use it to pick up 4 plants here. If we can combo this with something else to get more plants and get a greenery Gen 1 or Gen 2, sadly we're first place. I mean, if you get something that gives us 4 plants immediately, like imported hydrogen would work, then that's nice. But if we rely on getting plants in the second gen, then it's quite bad, because we're then last place. And both these guys have the chance to destroy our plants. So maybe we will not pick this up and rather go for Research Network or Power Generation. We'll have to see. But for now, I'd say these two. Sadly, also in Elysium, there's no Terraformer. Terraformer milestone. So that's quite bad for UNMI if you go that route. But there's a Benefactor. For Ecoline, no Heat Prod in the preludes, but you could like go Power Generation and Great Aquifer, use this as Heat Prod, and this is 4 plants, so you can immediately convert. This is really nice for Ecoline actually. You start with 3 plants, you pick up 4 with Great Aquifer, and immediately put the greenery in the pocket. I get 4 cash back on 2 plants. That's really strong. And Metal Ridge Asteroid is also really good for Ecoline, because you need this. You can use the starting capital, and the heat step is also nice. So let's say we're picking Ecoline here. Then these are probably the preludes I'd like to see. Nuke Zone, really good. Arctic Algae, oh my god, also really good. Also for Ecoline, you're kind of annoyed that there's no Gardener. Wow, okay. Interesting cards. Power Plant is kind of nice. Protected Valley is kind of nice. Development Center is kind of nice. Business Contacts is kind of nice. Even Solar Wind is nice. I don't know whether I want to go UNMI or Ecoline here. I'd say they are going for a similar strat, because UNMI can get a greenery down as well, pretty easily, if no one destroys your plants in their first move. So let's say we're going Ecoline first. Metal Ridge Asteroid and Great Aquifer. You place the Great Aquifer on the 2 oceans here and here, and then as your first action you can immediately place a greenery here, so that's nice. Then you have Nuke Zone. You will have 2 plants after placing the greenery here, 2 plant pro. So you start off Gen 2 with 4 plants, and then you can Nuke Zone here at the start of Gen 2 and convert here and get another 2 cash back in Gen 2, then probably also get the bonus heat bump if nobody takes that, because there's 1 heat bump from Metal-Rich Asteroid and then 2 from Nuke Zone, so that's nice. You can also play Power Plant Gen 1. Definitely you pick up Arctic Algae, maybe you can get this out Gen 1 as well. I probably pick up Protected Valley and go together with Arctic Algae. That's 3 green tags. You just need 1 more for Ecologist. I'd pick up Development Center, play this in Gen 2, and I'd pick up Business Contacts, and that's probably it. So Gen 1, I'd probably just play Arctic Algae and Power Plant and place my greenery, and then Gen 2, play Nuke Zone and convert again. As UNM, yeah, that's probably what I do as Ecoline. But there's like a similar line you can do as UNMI, and if I get the chance to play UNMI because my starting hand is kind of made out for it, then I probably pick UNMI as well. Metal-Rich Asteroid, great Aquifer as well. And you pick basically the same cards. And there's like a decision you can do. You place the Great Aquifer on the 4 plants here. And then you could go for Greenery Gen 1 by playing Arctic Algae. That gets you 1 more plant, so you're at 5, and then Nuke Zone on the 3 plants. Only problem is that's 2 actions, so you can't do these 2 and then convert. So you, as your first action, you play Arctic Algae and maybe Power Plant. Pass to the other players, hope that nobody destroys your 5 plants, and when it comes back to you, you play Nuke Zone here and convert here and get the cash back. That's one way of doing it. Problem is your only guaranteed terraforming step you can do in Gen 2 is Protected Valley, which is really expensive. So what you could also do is just place Great Aquifer, get the 4 plants, take your action, play Power Plant and Arctic Algae, and then in Gen 2 you do Nuke Zone and convert, so that you can use your action in Gen 2 off of that. And in Gen 3 you can play Protected Valley and use your action off of that. And hopefully by then you have found more TR increasing cards like Bribe Committee, Red Camp Factory, Imported Hydrogen, like cheap ones like that. Lava Flows even. Lava Flows is really good on this map. You can get on Olympus Mons or Elysium Mons, or if you want a plant and a titanium, even on Asia Mons. So really good spots for that. And you can get Development Center down in Gen 2 as well. I'd probably always keep this here together with Power Plant. Pretty nice. Because we are lacking heat prod. But both Ecoline and UNMI, we don't have heat prod. So we can't really go for full rush. And that's why I would use this Power Plant and Development Center as like our fallback option here. And kind of go for like a mid-game setup. The rest of the cards, yeah, I think are not worth it. Like you can think about Solar Wind, that's a solid card, but then Regolith Eaters, don't get baited into this as UNMI. It's really expensive. You don't have the money for it, and Physics Complex, of course, doesn't make sense here. So these are probably the 6 cards, maybe 7. I wouldn't pick up Tundra Farming because we don't have any heat prod. These are the 6 cards I pick up as UNMI as well, and as well as Ecoline. It's pretty good setup for both, but I think I'd go for UNMI because it's more fun. You don't get to play it that often, and you lack heat prod for Ecoline. So yeah, pretty interesting hands today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and consider subscribing, and also let me know in the comments what you would have done with these starting hands. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one and see you.